Hi everyone, welcome back. So this video is long overdue. It's going to be a time trial first impressions on the Too Faced Peach Perfect foundation. The reason that you are seeing this probably 4 months after I purchased it is because I went to Australia and Bali and then I got too much sun and the foundation color just didn't match me. So I've had to wait this long for my skin to pale back out, and I think it's going to be a good match now. Now, this is the shade Snow. I did pick up Porcelain and Snow in this range, and when I swatched them out, Porcelain was way too deep. Now, I wear Porcelain in the Born This Way foundation, but the color tones seem to be a little bit off in the Peach Perfect foundation, so that's just something to be aware of. They don't match exactly. Now, I did say that this is a first impressions, which is not entirely accurate. I did wear this once for my try-on of the Peaches and Cream collection, but I can't really remember what I thought about it since it was so long ago, and I haven't worn it since. So the packaging, of course, for Too Faced is absolutely beautiful. I mean, they knock it out of the park every single time. But the thing that makes this foundation really exciting to me is that it comes in an easy squeezy tube, but it's got a pump top as well. I think that's so freaking great because we always talk about this, and when I say we, I mean YouTubers in general, but there's no reason that a foundation should not have a pump. So the fact that it's a squeezy tube and a pump is fantastic. Not only is the packaging great, but there's also a ton more product in here. This has 48 mils or 1.6 fluid ounces. And that's a ton more than a usual foundation because a regular foundation comes with 30 mils or 1 fluid ounce. In terms of my own skin, it is December right now and I am getting extremely dry. Like so dry that I had patches of skin flaking off around my mouth and nose last week. It's not too bad right now because I've managed to resuscitate my skin, but for all intents and purposes, I am quite dry. I'm also around the MAC NW20/NC20 range. As per usual, I'll be applying this to my face with a damp Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge, and I won't be powdering or touching up my face throughout my workday. The Peach Perfect foundation is infused with refreshing peach and sweet fig cream in our exclusive Comfort Matte Long-Wearing 14-Hour Formula. The modern way to wear matte foundation, photo-friendly, smooth, flawless, and comfortable with a soft focus of velvety finish. And their claims on the side of the box are oil-free, 14-hour wear, oil-controlling, photo-friendly, and shine-free. Alright, that's the foundation applied to my skin. I think it's a pretty good color match for my neck, which makes me happy. The finish is very nice to me. It is kind of in that comfort matte area. Like it's not, I don't see a ton of sheen in the viewfinder, but I can see there is some sort of luminosity on my skin, so it's not completely bone dry. My face does feel a little bit dry, but that's not unexpected because, again, it's really cold outside and my face is just drying out for the winter. It does feel like it's drying down pretty quickly though, which I noticed with application with the sponge. Certain areas, if you had to go back over it, there we go, it gathers a little bit if you don't move fast enough because it is drying down. So that's just something to be aware of. That aspect of it reminds me so much of Revlon's Color Stay foundation, which I loved. I liked how much that set. So this is kind of giving me some of those vibes because of how quickly it sets down. So I'm gonna do the rest of my face and I will be right back. All right, that's my makeup applied. Everything seemed to go on smoothly. The only thing that I'm noticing an issue with is that it's having a little bit of adherence problem right underneath my nostrils. However, it's entirely possible that I'm very red in that area and it's just shining through the foundation. This is almost a full coverage foundation. I feel like it's a very strong medium, but it's not quite at full coverage. So for that reason, maybe some of this is just showing through a little bit because again, I've been so dry that everything's going a little bit red on my face. Anyway, it is currently 8:09 a.m. I'm gonna go to work and I will be back around 5 p.m. Again, I will not touch up my face and we will see how it looks then. All right, I am back. It is currently 4:57 p.m. and it's been 9 hours of wearing this foundation. And I am really impressed. I don't think my face actually looks that different than when I left this morning. Everything is pretty much intact. And I have to point out that I left with this color lipstick on this morning. And I actually took my lipstick off to eat lunch because I don't know how people do it, but I cannot eat lunch with lipstick on. And it actually didn't disrupt the area around my lip that much when I removed it. So that was really impressive because I put my lipstick back on after lunch and I don't feel like I've got like a rim of exposed skin around my lips, so that was particularly impressive. Just gonna refer to my notes on my phone. So my face does feel a little bit dry. I'm not that surprised given how dry my face has felt for the last 2 weeks. Toronto got really, really cold all of a sudden, and we didn't really have that sort of like gentle easing into the winter. It just suddenly hit, and I had really parched skin. So I've been working really hard to try to bring moisture back to my skin. And in fact, I haven't even been wearing foundation to try to, you know, bring some life back into my skin. So I'm not really that surprised that my face does feel dry. If you are excessively dry though, I think that this might be a foundation you struggle a little bit with because it might just continuously feel dry on your skin. I think this is potentially better for people that are combination leaning dry, which is what I sort of fall into, going all the way up to oily even. Now, my friend Samantha did a review on this foundation, I think it was last week, and she's got super oily skin and it worked out really well for her. So I'm gonna link that video down below if you wanna check it out, because she's a great source for really oily skin. And this foundation looked fantastic on her by the end of the day. For me, I don't feel like I've got oil really shining through. It looks a bit worn in at this point, but let's be honest, it's been 9 hours and I haven't done anything more to my face to like liven it back up. But that being said, it looks very, very good for 9 hours with no touch-ups. Out of all of the foundations I have tried, this is one that has stayed matte the longest on my skin. I have like some faint hint of sheen coming through my forehead, but again, it's really not that bad. I'm looking at my nose now and I'm seeing that a little bit has lifted off, but I feel like that happened in like the last hour because I remember repeatedly checking my nose throughout the day and constantly being like, oh, it's still there, which is very impressive because my nose just, foundation doesn't stick to it really. The foundation did dry down more after application and even after I had finished filming my clips this morning, and it did come to a bit of a powdered finish. That powdered finish I feel like does emphasize a certain amount of pores, but nothing that bothers me. I'm not, you know, especially concerned with my pores, so for me this looks totally fine on my skin. Perhaps the most impressive thing for this foundation for me is that it did not gather in my forehead lines. I've mentioned this before, but I am constantly raising my eyebrows, much like this right now, and I get really deep grooves. And sometimes foundation collects in there and it just looks really, really bad, and often I'll have to like kind of push it out with my fingers just to make it not look like a stark line across my forehead. I have no gathering whatsoever right now, and I think that is incredible because practically every foundation I own creases on me in that area. So for me, the Too Faced Peach Perfect foundation is definitely 2 thumbs up. Yes, it does get a little bit dry on my skin, but I think all of the other positives way outweigh that dryness, and I feel like this is a foundation that I can really trust. So that's gonna be it for my review. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!